right, hi everyone. This is a presentation that I am planning on presenting at Parent Night for my first grade families. This is going to be all about number sense, so I'm planning to present it as a part of my Parent Night spiel that I give that night. I do talk quite a lot on that night, and so I want this to be able to be something that parents listen to and understand, but not so long that parents are drowning me out by the end of it. So I'm going to kind of try to keep it short and sweet here tonight. And so this is the presentation I'm giving, and it pertains directly to our first grade math content. So I'll be referencing our math content and tying that into the idea of number sense, which we'll learn a little bit about here in a second. So what is number sense? This is a definition of number sense from Learning Disabilities Online. This website is a great resource for students and parents who have students with learning disabilities, and it gives a lot of research into techniques and practices that are good to support students with learning disabilities. So one of the things that they talk about is number sense, and so you see here the definition they give is that number sense refers to a child's fluidity and flexibility with numbers, the sense of what numbers mean, and an ability to perform mental mathematics and look at the world and make comparisons. Obviously, in first grade, we are not yet at the point of being able to mentally perform a lot of mathematics. We only do addition and subtraction. And in the beginning of the year, it's really conceptually building that. So for us, number sense is going to look a lot like manipulating numbers, understanding what a number means, how that relates to a picture perhaps, and understanding how numbers can interact with each other, what's more and less, how adding and subtracting changes our numbers, that sort of thing. So understanding conceptually those ideas is what number sense is all about. Number sense is not memorizing facts. A lot of parents will want the best for their child, and they'll want their child to know all of their math facts. And that is great, but knowing that 5 plus 5 equals 10 does not necessarily mean a child understands what that means. It does not necessarily mean that they understand that 5 dice and 5 dice are coming together to make a total of 10 dice. So it's important that we are building this number sense behind our memorizing facts. Number sense is understanding how numbers work, so understanding the why of the math that we're doing, and not just memorizing answers to math facts, not just memorizing ways of solving, but understanding why we are doing what we are doing. So here's a little example for you. How a child might answer the question, why is 5 plus 6, 11? So a child who has a strongly developed number sense might provide any of these answers. They might say, oh, I know that addition means that I need to put numbers together. I know that word in my head. And so when I take 5 yellow counters and then I put 6 red counters next to them, I can count them up. That's a total of, 11 counters. So that's one way that they're showing, oh, I understand why 5 plus 6 equals 11. I can show that. Another example here, they might say, well, I know when I see a plus sign, that means I'm adding, and so I need more. That plus sign, that adding means more. I know I need to count up to make more. So when I count up 6 more than 5, I reach the number 11. Again, really understanding how they're getting their answer there. And the last one's a little bit more of a complex way of thinking about it. But some students, as they get that math fact fluency, are also able to use their number sense to help them in an even greater sense. So maybe a child knows already, I know 5 plus 5 equals 10. And I know that the number 6 is 1 more than 5, right? So if I take 5 and 6, that number that's 1 more, that must make my answer 1 more. That must mean that my answer is 1 more than 10, which is 11. So these are all different ways of working through that problem that show that a child isn't just memorizing a fact, but show that they are actually conceptually understanding. They have number sense of what is going on there. A child who is memorizing or just knows that number fact in their head, when they're asked the question, why is 5 plus 6 equals 11? Why is that true? They might respond with just, I don't know. They might tell me, I've heard this a lot, because that's what it equals. I know that 5 plus 6 equals 11 because that's what it equals. I don't know what that means, but I know that I've been told that fact. And even this one, 5 and 6 make 11. That's not really telling us that they know what that means. They say there's a 5 there, there's a 6 there. Well, I'm told that's equal to 11. If you put 5 and 6 next to each other, it looks like 56. Is 5 plus 6 56 because they can go next to each other? No. So those are some answers that a child who does not have a fully developed number sense, does not understand how to manipulate those numbers, might give to an answer like this. So we really want to develop that number sense so they understand why they're doing what they're doing and why the answers are what they are, instead of just memorizing these facts. So you might be asking at this point, why is number sense so important? I know that my child can get the right answers if they memorize all their facts, so why number sense? Why aren't we just memorizing facts? And there's a lot of research to support development of number sense. One study here by Eddie Gray and David Tall found that students ages 7 to 13, so right around the age that kids are in first grade, a little bit older, students who were higher achieving in mathematics interacted with the numbers flexibly and conceptually, so with number sense. Those students who were higher achieving. Lower students seemed to believe that their role in math was to recall methods from memory, even when that was difficult to do. So they thought that, oh, I needed to memorize a strategy, I needed to memorize a fact, a set of rules, or something like that, and that will get me my answer if I plug a bunch of numbers into those methods. And that's not necessarily our best solving strategy. Our best solving strategy is thinking through with number sense of how we are solving our problems. So it's important that we're developing that so that our students can have more achievement in math. Another study here by Nancy Jordan, Joseph Gleding, and Shantea Ramaniri found that students' number sense ability at the end of first and third grades, they measured them at those two specific benchmark times, and they found that those two number sense times predicted their success in higher level mathematics. So that doesn't mean necessarily that if your student doesn't have number sense by the end of first grade, they're never going to develop it. That just means that we can use number sense kind of as an indicator to, okay, how are they doing in math? Difficulties in number sense are often an underlying problem in most students struggle with math. So if we're able to recognize early in first grade that they are struggling with this number sense, they're struggling to conceptually understand things, and they're just trying to memorize facts, we might realize that, okay, that's something we really need to target so that they don't have that underlying problem and they don't continue struggling in that way in math. So how do we develop number sense? What can we do to help with that? Research has found that there's 7 effective ways of building number sense. I've listed 3 of these core ideas here. If you want to look further at this research, I have this linked right below. When I do this presentation, I will send this out to parents as well. But the 3 core ideas here are things we can build off of. So first, working with concrete materials and familiar ideas. That means working with manipulatives, things that they can move around. In our classroom, we're going to use counters all the time. We're going to be using blocks. We'll use different types of cubes that we can build with. Those things really help us to build that understanding of how the physical things we have relate to the math that we're doing. And then also working with familiar ideas. So ideas like creating story problems that happen in everyday life. Hey, I see that you have 3 plates there. Oh, we have 4 people coming to dinner. How many more plates do you need? So that sort of idea is a way that we can build number sense. Also, composing and decomposing different arrangements of a number. Composing and decomposing really relate to adding and subtracting. So taking a number and saying, okay, I want to make 10. What numbers can I add to make that number 10? And finding different arrangements of that. And then saying, okay, I'm going to take 10 and I'm going to break it apart. What parts can I break it apart into? So that's the idea of composing and decomposing. And then number 3 is discussing discoveries and findings. So having those discussions about, okay, what did you learn from how we solved this problem? How did you get to your answer? Maybe when you tried this strategy or this strategy, what did you find out through that? So those discussions are very important to developing number sense as well. One strategy that I really love and we use a lot in our classroom that you can also replicate at home is something called a math talk. So there's kind of 3 types of math talks that I've kind of laid out here. The first is pictured over to the right, which one doesn't belong, and there is a website, I don't have it linked here, but it's wodb.ca, and that links you to all of these different pictures of these which one doesn't belong problems. And it'll look just like this picture off to the right that has 4 dominoes. Each one is a different thing. Sometimes it's shapes, sometimes it's numbers, sometimes it's all sorts of different things. And you have to think about which one doesn't belong. And you can come up with a reason for any 4 of these for why it doesn't belong. Maybe the bottom left one doesn't belong because it has a side of a domino that doesn't have anything on it. Maybe the top left one doesn't belong because it's the only double stacked. It's the only one that has 4 and 4. Maybe you could come up with all different reasons. Maybe the top right one is the only one that has 6 on top. The top left one could also be the one that doesn't belong because it's the only one with 2 even numbers. So you can come up with all different reasons of why one of these doesn't belong, and it really requires you to think about numbers, how they relate to each other, comparing and contrasting. So I really love those which one doesn't belong. Those are things that you can even create on your own. Write 4 numbers down, say, all right, which one doesn't belong? Tell me why. Really simple to create on your own. The next is mental math. That was kind of like that earlier number talk that I showed you, how students were describing the different ways that they knew what 5 plus 6 was. So that would be that kind of number talk. And you can make that as simple or as complex as you want. If you want to do a 2-digit number and really challenge your child and say, okay, how would you solve this? What would you do? What steps would you take? That is a way to really challenge them and get them talking about what they do as they solve. And then the other thing can be to describe what you see. So maybe even in this picture to the right, you say, all right, describe what you see. What do you notice about the dominoes? Well, maybe I notice that each domino has 2 sides. Maybe I notice that each number is grouped in a certain way. Those 3's groups of dots are the same. The groups that have 4 in them are grouped the same way. So that can be another thing. That's a lot of one I like to use with pictures. It's good with dominoes. It's good with dot pictures. Maybe you group things in a picture different ways. And maybe you even have them draw a picture of something in math and then you have them describe it. So that's another way you can facilitate a math talk. This right down here, I'm going to click on real quick. And this just gives you some resources for facilitating a math talk at home. There's a video here from UCubed that tells you how you can facilitate a math talk. That's an even higher level math talk. That's a 2nd or 3rd grade level that you could use. But there's also some recommended math talks, and it helps you develop your own way of creating math talks so that you can use this as a really helpful tool with your child. So that is a really great resource.